Hey there, and welcome to Becoming Natural. I am your host, Victoria Ray, a board-certified holistic health practitioner and expert in the areas of mental wellness and nutrition. Now, this podcast is here to provide you with the tools and knowledge that you need so that you can live a healthy, natural life in a world that keeps telling us that fat is the enemy. It's actually not. And ladies, this is especially for you. In today's episode, we are talking all about how low-fat diets are wrecking our hormones, destroying our cycles, and messing up our fertility. All right, so let's get one thing straight right off the get-go. Fat is essential for your health. And if you've been avoiding it because of these outdated trends, you really need to roll that back because it is not the enemy. Women have been fed this myth for decades that eating fat is going to make us fat. But that's actually not true at all. Cutting out fat is one of the worst things that you can do for your body and is actually probably going to make you put on weight. And not just water weight, but extra body fat. Fat is literally the building block of our hormones. Our bodies use cholesterol to create estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Yes, women, we need testosterone. It keeps our muscles strong, keeps our mood stable, does a whole lot of other really awesome stuff for us. But when we don't eat enough fat, what happens is our hormone production kind of stalls out. It doesn't get what it needs to make all these hormones for us. And this is going to lead to irregular periods, missed periods, issues with fertility, mood swings, energy issues, libido issues. That's a big one right there. So that really is important. There was a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that found women who consumed more healthy fats had balanced hormone levels and better reproductive function than those who followed low-fat diets. Yet, we're still out here following this narrative of, ooh, low-fat, well, you need to choose the heart-healthy option, the one with the American Health Association logo on it. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, if you see that logo on anything, run the other way, because those guys are some of the most corrupt people that I have ever watched. You watch any of the stuff about them defending sodas, defending junk food, it's insane. It's ridiculous. And they're doing this in the courts because they get so much money from it. And they don't have your best interests at heart at all. They've got their pockets in their best interests. So, yeah, I would personally avoid any American Heart Association affiliation. All right, let's talk about your cycle. And men, you don't have cycles, but it would be good for you to listen to this because the more you understand something, the more that you can understand your partner or maybe any other women in your life and kind of understand what's going on with their bodies. I think that's really important because there's not a lot of education around this. Unfortunately, even for us women, we learn about this sometimes in school. Some people don't. Some schools don't teach about this. I know personally for me, I think in like 5th grade, so you're, 11, 12 years old maybe, and they took all the boys out of the room. No boys allowed. And it's all the girls, and they played this like ancient video. Can't really remember a lot about it, but they also had a plastic uterus. What they did is they were like, here is this. And there wasn't a whole lot of information that they gave us. We also got these weird little handouts, and it was like, your boobs are going to get bigger. But nobody ever really talked about, like, why it's happening, how it happens, what you need to eat to support yourself, support your hormones during this time, which I think is very unfortunate. I understand taking 12-year-old boys out of the classroom when you're talking about this, because all they would do is giggle and, be and then make fun of the girls the rest of the time. So yeah, fair. But as they get older, men, as you're older now, you're not little boys anymore. It's important for you to understand all of this. So, all right, on with that. On with talking about women's cycles. So your cycle is kind of like your monthly report card on how your body's doing. And if you've been skipping fats, your body's probably going to give you some warning signs. And some signs that your diet is too low in fat is, 1, missing your period, or having irregular periods. Now, again, this isn't the only reason that you could be having irregular periods or that you're missing periods, but this is a very, very common reason, and something that a lot of people really overlook. You can also have crazy PMS symptoms, so mood swings, like where you don't know what's going on, you don't know which way is up, which way is down, and you can't help it. You're happy and then you're sad and then you're crying and then you're mad about this. You've got crazy cramps, you've got ridiculous bloating, and that doesn't help because you're already pissed off. So that's something that can happen to you. You're also going to have really low libido. I'm not just talking about during your period, like your menstruation cycle. This is like during ovulation, or when you should be ovulating, or around ovulation. You should have high libido because your body wants you to get pregnant. Like, that's the whole point of ovulation, right? So if your sex drive is really low, could be due to that. Could be because you're not getting enough fat. You're also possibly going to have dry skin and dry hair, because how do we hydrate ourselves? We don't hydrate ourselves best by putting stuff topically on the outside, which, yes, that does help, but it's just masking a symptom of your dry skin. And the real hydration starts inside. It starts with what you're eating, what you're drinking. So if you're not getting enough fats, you're probably going to have dry skin. And no amount of lotion, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my nose itches so bad. No amount of lotion is going to fix your dry skin if it's a fat-related issue. There was a study done in the Journal of Human Reproduction that found women who ate more full-fat dairy had better ovulatory function than those who stuck with low-fat options. Ooh, interesting. Why? Well, that is because full-fat dairy contains essential fatty acids and fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K that our bodies do need to keep hormones in check. Now, if you have been trying to get pregnant, or you want to get pregnant in the future, this is important for you. Low-fat diets have been linked to increased rates of infertility, particularly anovulatory infertility. Why was that so hard for me to say? All this means is that your body is not releasing the eggs like it should be. Because you should be releasing your eggs every, 28 to 31 days. That's typically how long your cycle is. Without enough fat in your diet, your body thinks that it's in a state of stress. So it might shut down your reproduction altogether. Your body is trying to look out for you. And if you're starving, or what it thinks you starving is, you obviously cannot be pregnant, because you might die, or your baby might die. Your body is trying its best to do what's best for you. So by removing the fat, we are causing this confusion to our body that shouldn't be there in the first place. A Harvard study found that women who consume more full-fat dairy products had a significantly lower risk of infertility compared to those who drank skim milk or low-fat milk. So, Eat your fats. Drink your full fat milk. I know I've told you, if you've listened to me before, you've heard this. Eat the full fat. Whatever it says on the front, full fat option. Unless it's something that's just like garbage. Don't eat that. So, does this mean that you should go to Macca's or KFC or some other drive-thru and get the biggest, like, deep fried whatever they have? No, it doesn't. And here's why. Because the type of fat matters, and all those guys are using seed oils. Now, Steak and Shake has come out saying that they're not using seed oils anymore. They're using tallow in their fryers. Well, that might be the case, but people found out because, as people do, they like to look into stuff, and Steak and Shake is actually buying fries, from their supplier that are already like cooked and then frozen, and they're cooked in vegetable oil. So instead of double cooking them in vegetable oil, they've just once cooked them in vegetable oil. Honestly, like, it doesn't matter. It's not good for you. Don't get their fries. And they're not just potatoes. McDonald's does this too. It's gross. Like, the fries have 15 plus ingredients in them. Literally should just be a potato, and you go in the little smasher thing, and then you have all these little potato finger looking things. Then you put those in the fryer. But they're not doing that. So again, I wouldn't go out and eat those. What you should be eating is omega-3s. Now that's going to come from your fatty fish like salmon, sardines, walnuts, flax seeds, things like that. You also want to eat saturated fats. Yes, I know the American Heart Association has been telling us, oh, don't eat saturated fats. You only want to eat unsaturated fats. Like I said a minute ago, anything they say, yeah, I would just not listen to that. But no, saturated fats are great for us. They really are. This is going to be what you find in coconuts. So coconut oil, your grass-fed butter, your high-quality dairy, good things like that. Things that people have been eating for a bajillion years. That kind of stuff. Also monounsaturated fats. So things like avocados, olive oil, and some nuts. Now, what you want to avoid, as I said a minute ago, is processed seed oils. So any canola, soybean, vegetable oil, they're all inflammatory. They mess with your metabolism. They're just not good for you. You're going to put on weight. You're going to feel like absolute garbage. You don't want to eat that stuff. And then also trans fats. Trans fats don't occur in nature. Like, naturally, they don't. So you should never be eating these. Like, ever should not be eating these. This is stuff that's going to be found in really, really processed foods and margarine. You know, I'm talking about that fake butter stuff, the country crock, the big country crock pot. When I was a kid, my mom used to buy that. I don't blame her. She didn't know. It was okay. Mom, if you're listening, I love you. All right, so takeaways from this is we need fat. Men, if you're still listening, you need fat too. You need fat just as much as we do. But ladies, you really, really, really need it, especially to feel better. Support yourself throughout your whole cycle. You know, you need these fats. It's non-negotiable, honestly. If you've been struggling with your hormones, cycle irregularities, any fertility issues, one of the simplest things you can do is stop with the, I don't know, you probably can't see my hands. They're down here. I'm doing all kinds of stuff with my hands. Stop with the low-fat nonsense. It's actually nonsense. It really is. It's just causing you more harm than it's doing good for anybody. And start nourishing your body the way that it needs to be nourished, with real whole foods, real whole fats. Don't cut the fat off of your steak. Eat it. It's good for you. And it's delicious, by the way. Eat butter. Don't be putting that margarine, nasty stuff on your toast. It's disgusting anyways. And butter tastes so good. Like, if you don't like butter, you're missing out. Love butter. Drink milk. Drink your full-fat milk if you don't have a dairy intolerance. Cook with coconut oil. Cook with beef tallow. Guys, tallow is so easy to make. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you how to make tallow. What you do is you get beef fat trimmings. What I personally do is I go to the local butcher, and just say, hey, can you save these for me? And they'll be like, yeah, cool, come back next week or whatever, a few days. Depends, I guess, on how many cows they're processing. Because specifically I ask for beef fat. You can ask for pig fat. Maybe you can ask for lamb fat. I don't know how much chicken fat you would get. So maybe don't ask for chicken fat, but you could try. But personally, yes, I ask for cow, beef fat. Go back and get it. I've got this bag of beef trimmings, and put it in the crock pot, cover it with water, right? Turn the crock pot on, let it do its thing, let it render. Now, there's going to be some bits that don't render all the way down, because there's still going to be some meat in there. There's still going to be some other tissues and whatever. And what you do, and it takes, I do mine overnight, so I maybe leave it for 12 hours. You probably don't have to leave it that long. That's what I do. Then I get a little scoop. I take all the solid stuff out, all the meat and all that. I give that to my dogs because they think it's delicious and it's good for them. And then I take a strainer and I strain all that liquid through the strainer. That way any other particles that maybe I didn't get, they're caught in the strainer. Cool. Dogs can have that too. Then I get a bowl. I put some water, just a little bit of water in the bottom of the bowl. It's a large bowl. Pour all that liquid in there, put it in the fridge, let it solidify, bring it back out the next day, and you're going to pop your little tallow block out, because it's going to be a solid block at this point. And you're going to have some impurities on the bottom. Cool, easy. Scrape those off. I like to do 2 renders. Some people don't do 2 renders. I do. I put it back in the crock pot. Okay, let it melt back down again. Same process. Pour it back over my strainer to get any impurities out. Put some water back in the bottom of my bowl. Put it back in the fridge. And then, usually, almost always by the second time, pull it out, pop it out. No impurities on the bottom. If there's a little bit, that's okay. You just scrape those off. You can do it the 3rd time if you want. You don't have to. You can do it 1 time. You can probably do it 4 times. I usually just do 2. Now you have tallow. Now you have beef tallow. You can cook with that. And you can also make your skincare out of it. So instead of buying the really expensive tallow from Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or wherever people are getting that nowadays, just get some of that tallow, break off a little chunk, leave it to room temp. Wait till it's all warm and it's kind of soft. Put it in something like a little bowl, and then get your little whipper out, your little whisker. I would use an electric whisker. You don't want to do this with your hands. And then now you have whipped tallow cream. It's awesome. You probably want to put a little bit of essential oils in it because it does smell kind of tallowy. It is tallow. It's the only ingredient. I put a little bit of essential oils in mine. It's really good for you. It's good for your skin. So easy to do. So now that you've learned how to make tallow and some tallow skincare, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope this gave you the permission that you need so that you can actually go out and eat some fat and enjoy your food and eat butter, and don't be afraid of getting fat from eating fat, because that's not going to happen. Now, go out there and have yourself a great freaking rest of your day.